Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Manchester United Agenda. It is the 16th of February, and we currently sit 15th in the league after a pretty terrible day. But to brighten everyone's day, I'm joined by Mr. B.
Nothing about the brightening part, but yeah. Cheers, last time.
That's all right. It's probably your head, isn't it? And so, it's, another man I'm joined with is Stuart.
Good evening, all.
And last but not least, we have a very, very explosive Dora this evening.
Oh God, that sounds so wrong. But good evening, everyone. Good evening.
All right. Before we get into it, I'm going to do some comments very quickly just to say hello to everyone because there's a lot to talk about. We've got Solo in the house. We've got POTUS in the house. We've got Bilal going in on the goalkeeper. We got Tony Lee. Hello to you, Tony. And we have Kieran. All right, we'll get to your comments a little bit later, but I think it's time for a venting session. And we shall start, I think, with you, Stuart, if that's all right, as our guest.
Yeah, no worries.
Yep.
Yab has joined us from the 1980s there. All right, Stuart, where do we begin?
Where do we start? To be honest, I mean, I thought in patches today we played quite well. I thought Xerxes was a standout player for me today. I thought he played really well in a bad bunch. Shocked that Chibo Obi Martin come on in the 90th minute. I mean, it's just get a shambles. It's every day, every game, something's there to piss you off. I'm just shocked that he come in the 90th minute. He should have brought him on the 70th minute. We've got nothing to lose. I mean, this. I feel so sorry for Rasmus Højlund. I mean, every team's got a scapegoat. Højlund's that man at the moment. He's not scoring the goals. He's not getting the service. Whatever you want to say, but we're at the club's of shambles, and I'm starting to lose my faith in Amorim. It's the same old shit week in, week out. He's not going to change the formation, which clearly isn't working. So where do we go from here? I mean, you lot know as much as I do, to be honest. I'm sick of it. Absolutely sick of it.
And you weren't at the game today, were you?
No, thank God.
Dora, you're obviously feeling very positive about today.
Oh yeah, if my cat died or my dog, that's how I positive feel. Like this is probably this loss really affected me today mentally. Even though I said I'm used to it, and I always try not to, think about it that much so it doesn't affect my day or my mental health or whatever. I know it sounds like a load of something, but it sometimes when you guys know when your favorite team loses or is in a bad patch, it affects you sometimes. And today, after many years of poor performances, today was the tipping point for me. Like I lost my head today, and that tipping point was that miss from Garnacho, and something deranged came from me. It came out of me, and like I lost my, like I something came out of me today, and it wasn't pleasant, honestly. Like this is the most I was stressed about the game, even I would say since probably that 7-0 against Liverpool. This is in that tier because we are playing against injury depleted Spurs team who are missing 11 players. They are 15th. They haven't I think win a home game 7 games in a row. And Ange Postecoglou is on a verge of a sack, right? And of course, United are saving jobs, saving forms, saving careers, but for the other clubs. When it comes to us, we are firing workers from the club, managers, everyone else, but we are always saving the opposing teams, workers and players. So that's quite ironic. So thanks, Inos and the rest of the guys as well. But yeah, it wasn't pleasant today. I was really, really angry, to say the least, and I don't want to feel like that any anymore, honestly, because I don't want to watch football and stress out like this. And be mad and be angry. I want to watch football to be happy, to enjoy it. And honestly, this was maybe it's dramatic, but it's absolutely it was a horrendous experience watching United today for me.
All right, yeah, but just before we get to you, would you mind if I did some comments?
Not at all. Go ahead, sir.
All right, we got Dale. Sorry, guys, late to chat. After today, Amorim needs to take a lot of blame. Not making a sub till the 90th minute is ridiculous. Poor Chido didn't even touch the ball. A similar sentiment, expressed more briefly, concisely, is from Farn, who says that Amorim is a clown. POTUS is saying that Amorim's days are numbered. 14 points out of a possible 42. Worse than the Eric Ten Hag's last comparable matches. Stuart, you're getting a bit of abuse here from Kieran, saying, are you for real you feel sorry for Højlund and you're sick of Amorim? So what do you think he's supposed to do with this crap squad? Any
Just a
retort?
heavy frown. Frown is
Yeah.
dead. Go on.
Mitesh, good evening to you, sir. Time to let the manager hear it. That was some BS. Garnacho and Højlund should have been subbed around the 70th minute at least.
Even before.
We deserve better. The famous five would give even Blyton ideas for a new book. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. We deserve better. Right, Yabba. I hope you've read the room a bit here. What are your thoughts on what we saw today?
Yeah, I watched the game, and you know what? It was a crazy game. Two teams under pressure. When I looked at the bench, obviously there's only Lindelof there, doesn't play, and all youngsters, all teens, on the bench. It's amazing that it shows you how depleted we are as a squad. So, and obviously we had Casemiro back in the side. He hasn't played this calendar year. So I knew that it was going to be problems. And we saw Casemiro really struggle. We saw Bruno kind of struggle a lot of the time with his use of the ball, getting pinched and giving away the ball away cheaply. These are the times when I reacted on the pitch. Otherwise, I had to accept that we were really sort of down to bare bones today. And it was always going to be an uphill struggle. But saying that, we had a chance. We created the first chance. Garnacho's chance was a good, clear chance. This is what we're doing, playing in open play, creating things, and not relying on set pieces or anything like that. This is from our play. So that's something I'm trying to look at the positive at. And I think Xerxes, as Stuart said there, was instrumental in that. Obviously, he had to play in that role a lot deeper, the same role where he got jacked off after, not jacked off, subbed off after 30 minutes. You know what I mean? He got subbed off after 33 minutes. He made amends today. He really showed that given the opportunity to play in a role, he can link up the play really well. And a couple of things he did, I'm sure Mr. B would have been jacked off, jacking off or something. But I just thought it was a really disappointing performance. It's kind of too stretched for me, kind of like my Sunday league team, where the game gets stretched in the second half and teams like fast break, back and forth. There was no structure. We were too open, and it could have been anyone's game. So I'm surprised it ended 1-0. We did create chances, though. It's just about finishing them. And I feel you talk about Højlund there. I was really. I'm looking at these guys on the bench. They must be looking at these guys thinking, we got easy way through, man. Don't worry. I'm confident we'll be in the first team very soon because Højlund, he runs the channels. Yeah, he's quick. He does that, but everything's so a struggle. It's a struggle for him. The simple things like what you first learned, control, pop it off, pass. But these things are like a real struggle to do the basic things right. And if you're trying to do those things right at this sort of level, for one, how did you get here? Okay, and for two, why can't you do it? And no one's calling you out for it. It's really disappointing. I'm frustrated with him. I forget confidence, all that kind of thing now. I know, you give me 6 months training, professional training, I'll be able to do the right things, like the basics, really well. He struggles to do the basics, and that really frustrates me. I felt it was, really felt for the youngster coming on. He should have got a few more minutes because he looked good. I saw him with thinking, right, this is senior football, men's. But even when he's up there, he's just stature and everything else. He looked like if he would have had a few more minutes, he might have done something. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to focus on that. Let's be real about this. We didn't have the side to go away from home to a Spurs side who are, got Madsen back and their goalkeeper back. We didn't really expect to beat them. It would have been a great result to beat them, but we didn't. And I'm not surprised by that. But I'm not too disheartened because I just think I'm going to go with this and just say, we create a few chances, put the right personnel in there. Without Casemiro and all these guys, we'd be better equipped to get a result. We had got a lot of chances today where we should have got a result. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Let's move on to the next game, and let's not don't compare it to the 7-0, Dora. It's not that bad.
I'm
Big
not
up-
comparing it. I'm Sorry, go on.
One more thing. Big up to Tony Lee, my good friend Tony Lee. If you want to get shirts and merchandise and all that kind of thing, Tony Lee is my man. Just hit me up for any shirts, merchandise, anything like that.
What?
Yeah, I'm here to plug.
I didn't say that it was in the same tier of loss. It's just the way I felt after the game or during the game. It felt like, to me, subjectively, it felt like that. So I just want to say, I'm not comparing. I think there were even worse performances this season than this one today. But me personally, my subjective feelings after this game or during that game were they were everywhere, all over the place, and I haven't felt good. So yeah.
All right, just before we hear from the silent Mr. B, I'm going to do some more comments because, you're not just here to look pretty, Mr. B. First of all, shout out to, I'm going to call you Graham. I can't call another man Papa Bear.
Graham's a friend of mine. Big up to Graham. How you doing?
All right. Okay. So one of the sort of common themes that we're getting, We Deserve Better has said it, and so has Bilal, is about the inactivity from the bench. Tottenham, I believe, made 5 subs before we made our only sub. Tony Lee is saying, when do you think United will win 2 Premier games in a row? We Deserve Better is not happy with Amorim. Matty is asking which players should, deserve to start against Everton. And good evening to Chatsport. Right, Mr. B, you've heard a couple of takes there. What are you thinking?
But I'm not agreeing with Yabba. No, that's for sure. I'm not agreeing with Yabba. They broke me a long time ago, this team. So I think the watch along today was a test of my mentality. I've given up on the Premier League. I have. Whatever position we finish in, we finish in. I know we're not going to get relegated. We've got 12 games to get 6 points. I don't know where the points are going to come from. I have no idea where the points are. But I know we're going to. It might just be 6 points, but we're going to get the 6 points.
We've still got 52 points to play for.
Yeah, but we're only going to get 6.
No, come on, Mr. B, be positive.
That's as positive as I'm going to get. That we're not going to be in a relegation fight because we're going to get the 6 points.
No, we're not. No.
I'm a low-level football coach, right? And I was watching that game today, not understanding what certain players in certain positions were supposed to be doing. I'm not super intelligent, but I'm not an idiot. And I did not know what they were supposed to be doing. Now, in Europe, for whatever reason, or in Portugal, it worked for him. It's not working here. He's not adapting, and he refuses to adapt, which is fine. But how much? I'm wondering if he really gives a shit now, because they brought him out of. He was happy at Portugal. They brought him out of there. They haven't backed him. Said they haven't backed him, but he's coming in and he's not helping himself. He's not helping himself at all. We're seeing the same. I mean, Bruno is a motherfucker.
What happened to Bruno today? He's just.
He plays how he wants to fucking play. You've been told to play in a position on the pitch. There has to be an instruction and a structure that you have to be able to play in. He's running out and leaving fucking Casemiro on his own in the centre of the park. to break up what? The one time Casemiro caught Son, he didn't even foul him. He jumped on his heel. He didn't even go to. He jumped on his heel. It wasn't even a tackle. He used him like he was a bobsleigh. He couldn't fucking catch him.
Cool running.
I don't know if you guys saw. I don't know if you guys saw Bruno at the end of the game when they go up to the fans. He looked a defeated man. He looked finished, absolutely finished.
He's done. He's got. Man was running. Jed Spence flew past him like 6 times. 6 times in the first half. 3 times in the second half.
Fair play to that Jed Spence. I mean, I watched the game with my stepson. He's a Tottenham fan, and it's the first time I've really seen that Jed Spence. Very good player. Very good player.
How much did he cost, and where did they get him from Middlesbrough? There's low-level players out there that you can buy. You don't have to go and spunk the whole of your money on these so-called world-class players.
Exactly,
Man United tax, I get it. But, the talent idea at the club is disgusting. Højlund, I'm done. I'm not calling him by that anymore. I'm just saying, I'm calling -9. That's what I'm calling him from now on, -9. I don't understand. It got to the stage where I was watching him where I just didn't give a shit. Anytime the ball went to him, I zoned out because I knew he wasn't going to do nothing.
Yeah,
he wants
agreed.
to wrestle. He wants to fight. He's just
He's fighting ghosts. He's fighting ghosts, literally. And what's even funnier? He's making those no-name, anonymous center backs from freaking Europa League, from Azerbaijan, from Bosnia, from Romania, look like world class against him. And today, Ben Davies and Ganzo. Danzo, not Ganzo. Ganzo was a Brazilian player. Danzo, who came to the club a few days ago. And he's making him look like a prime Rio Ferdinand. Or Thiago Silva. Or Nemanja Vidic with his, tackles. That guy tackled like he was, a man possessed. And every time it was against Rasmus Højlund. So before people say, but last season he scored 16 goals. Well, that. I swear to God, that is fake. In all honesty, I just don't believe that is something I can consider. Seeing him play the way he plays in the last year and a half, it's disgusting. And I know, Stuart, about. I agree with you in terms of his being a scapegoat, but he isn't helping his team at all.
No,
Bruno United always have a scapegoat. It was Sancho.
Yeah.
It was Rashford.
Exactly.
It was
Exactly.
There's always somebody. You kick out what everybody thinks is a scapegoat. Somebody else then becomes a scapegoat. So what do? Kick them out as well. They're not all scapegoats. They can't all be scapegoats.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the problem. He's gonna be hounded out, Nick, but he's shit. Let's be honest.
I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says. Everton away next week. I'm starting Chido, Obi Martin up front from the start. Don't care what anyone says. People laughed at me last night on another United channel I do, and said you're bringing on Obi Martin. I mean, we've got no choice. At least the boy's going to run. He can score goals. What have we got to lose now? Give the boy a start.
I mean, people are reluctant probably but that happened with Kobe and Garnacho, right? In the last few seasons, they saved our seasons. Garnacho saved the season before Ten Hag season.
He can go now because he's killing our season. He can go now.
Yeah, so we will talk about it further. I absolutely agree. But now you need someone that is going to refresh something, because Højlund isn't going to refresh anything. Like I'm seeing, like I'm baffled. I haven't seen the worst United player in my life, and even I would expand this to other leagues and other places of football that I watch. But seriously, I mean, it's harsh, but you cannot tell me how it's logical. It's not logical the way he plays. It's like he's an alien and he came to another planet and he plays something, insane. Like maybe that's the rage thing that Garnacho awakened in me. Maybe he has it as well. Maybe something deranged came out of him in the last year and a half. So he plays like this. I truly don't understand. I know it's a confidence issue as well. Mentality issue is a huge thing in this squad. And you could clearly see with the way we cannot finish our dinner at all. In those matches, even against Romanian farmers, and the other, like it's getting to the point of what must be done to elevate this team at least by the end of the season, because manager needs to do something. And besides this, we deserve better. And POTUS, more and more people are going against Amorim, and I think he understands it as well, because in the post-match interview he said that I hate losing. It's my job to keep us, better in the table, or something like that, in something in that context, and for us to perform and win points. He knows that he's not doing something well, so it's really hard to be a United fan. I thought it was that like 10 years ago when David Moyes came in. This is probably this is the worst. This is absolutely the worst I felt.
This is worse. This is worse than David Moyes. This is this is worse than Ten Hag. This is on another level.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean, Amorim's obviously thinking, because he wasn't due to come in the summer, and the comments he made about the worst side in history and all this other, he should be saying that. And
he wasn't lying though, was he?
No, he's not lying, Mr. B. But but the manager of Man United Football Club should not be coming out and saying that sort of stuff. Sorry.
So what should he have said?
Well, he shouldn't be saying it's the worst team in history for the world to hear, for the players to hear. Because I'm not being funny. I'm not being funny. If I was a Man United player and my manager said that, surely you're going to buck your ideas up and go and perform on the pitch. Nothing's changed, Mr. B.
Yeah, because they're all pussy holes.
You're right. Yeah.
But why is it also, before maybe you go to the comments or someone else, I just want to ask this question and to the commentators. How is it that every time a player departs this United squad, they are performing better in Europe?
Because
why is that? Is it the shirt?
Is it the shirt? They can't handle Dora. They can't handle the pressure of playing for the club. That's a fact.
I mean, it's bullshit. Like, I'm as a Croatian, that's such a stupid reason. And I get it. I think it's absolutely right what you're saying, but it's such a stupid reason. Look at
McTominay in Napoli. He's playing like prime Maradona. They love him there. He's a god already.
Only BT thought he was a Maradona before.
I think he's playing at the same level myself. He's got roughly the same amount of goals and things.
Yeah.
And I remember last year that there was a sort of there was a running theme that people said McTominay was taking Højlund's goals off him.
What goals?
Well, he scored 16. Oh my god.
16, yeah.
Yabba, you've been behaving yourself up there, and I know we're about to hear some positivity and some clapbacks to what you've heard from Stuart Dorder and Mr. B.
Yeah, we need to lower our expectations. The reason why we're so vexed because we expect so much more from Man United. We do. We expect to be.
How much lower do you think? How much lower do you expect? We're 15th.
I know.
What expectations
we haven't been here.
Get lower, Yabba,
we ain't been here for a lifetime, a generation. A lot of people, in their 20s and 30s, have never experienced this in their life. And so we need to lower our expectations. I understand that right now. We can't expect a win through love or money. We can't expect to be doing anything positive.
Do you know who we are? What do you mean we're lower? We can't expect to. Do you know who we are? Do you know what our history says we are? Yeah,
of course. But I'm saying to turn this around. Last time we were in this sort of position, finished in the lower half of the table, was 1989 when Fergie was just building and changing things around. He arrived in '86. We had a couple of good seasons because we still had some decent players there. To do that transition, he had to drop off a little bit to work things out. And that's when he started to get under pressure because he finished in the bottom half of the table. So what happened after that is he was trusted enough to turn it around. And as we all know, he did. So I think we're going through that stage right now where we're experiencing a turnaround. There's no way that we're going to get relegated or end up in the championship or be doomed like that because of who we are. It's just that the case is, just like Chelsea last season, we had a really poor run where they're on relegation form, as we are now, and now they're up towards the top end of the table. We need to do the same thing to fix things up. There's a really bad culture in the club that we're having to change, and by doing that, we're suffering for it at the moment. So for me, I've lowered my expectations. I'm not going to get vexed or upset. I'm not going to blame the manager. I'm not going to do all that. I'm just looking at the game objectively and saying, okay, that player's not good enough. Holland is not good enough. He should have scored that goal. Garnacho, he's coming on. Yeah, I like him. He's a youngster. Every time he comes on, he's getting chances. He just needs to improve his finishing. He needs to improve his finishing, in my opinion. I look at the wing back situation. I thought that we had Dalot playing on their left foot and right foot and the right side now today. And I thought should be giving us more, but I found a lot of time they would camp back when Spurs had possession, and then he's got a flat line of 5 and just 2 midfielders with the width of the pitch made it difficult. I want to see them pushing on a little bit more. They'll learn that. And I think Dogu, or whatever his name is, and I want to see when Dogu's in positions, as a couple of times he made an overlap and no one fed him, or he tried to make a cross, whatever. He needs to get into the game, give us a bit more potency going forward. And I think he can do that eventually. So I think we're a bit weak in those areas. And then once we fix that up, those wide areas, once we fix that and we link up proper and we create more chances then, I think we see a vast improvement. And then obviously the striker situation as well. I thought De Ligt as well was very disappointing today. He's obviously playing a left-hand side, but he just looks so awkward and he looks old. He looks like his knees have gone or something.
Panicked.
Sorry?
He looked panicky today.
Yeah, really struggled out there. And I'm thinking, wow. So we had a lot of players out. I granted, we're playing a top side in the Premier League. Anyone would have probably given us a beating today. And so I just have to take it like that. So I'm not too disheartened. I'm just looking at the long run, saying, right, let's get through the next season and let's give the manager a real run. Don't just throw him in November or whatever and say, right, do your magic. It's not going to happen overnight. These things, if you want to do, a job worth doing is worth doing well. And he has to stick to his principles and do all these things and take these licks right now, just so in the long run, things will get right. Let's assess this. Let's really assess this. Maybe in September, October, November next year.
Always this.
What's that?
Sorry, it's always we've got to wait 6 months before we can comment on what
I'm saying
we saw today.
assess it properly. Assessing it after today, we're whack, we know that. But let's assess it properly. We need to have more time to get things together, get more players in, and get the players that are in tune and doing it with the system and everything else.
How much players, looking at it today and looking at what you've seen, how much players do we need for Amorim's formation to work? How much players do you think we need?
I think we need about five players.
Right, so these are 5 starters, right? These are
probably
starters.
5 starters, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Can you see the club buying 5 starting players for Amorim next season?
No, we ain't got the money.
No.
Right. So what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
I'm saying I want to assess it by October, because at least by then, if we can see a little difference.
You know what they did when they assessed Ten Hag? They fucking sacked him.
Yeah.
So what you're gonna wait? Exactly.
Ten Hag won a trophy and won 2 trophies in 2 years. That's the difference.
He's a genius now because he did what he did with this pile of shit. Is that what you said? Telling me.
Well, we can't. This is the thing. Let's be real with one another now. Yeah, we can't. When Ollie was there, I wasn't happy with Ollie. I say that, and people are now saying, "Oh, I wish Ollie was there now." And people will soon start saying, "Oh, we should have kept Ten Hag." Do you see what I'm saying? It's fans are so fickle. We got what we got. Let's work with what we've got and try to, instead of this. You talk about, Stuart made a really good point earlier, saying why players. Dora asked the question: why are players leaving Man United and playing better? And Stuart said it's because at Man United, it's a big club. There's pressure. Pressure comes from fans as well. Shows like this where we're expecting too much. And poor Rasmus Højlund, who thought he was going to be a big star, and
it's our fault.
No. We've got to take responsibility. No, we have to take some responsibility in saying, rather than saying, trash, rubbish, whatever, we need to say, let's get behind this, support the club properly as it's supposed to be supported, and Newcastle fans haven't won anything since the 60s, and they still back their team. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's our responsibility as fans to say, all right, things are bad, but it will make the good times even better. That's the way I should look at it, because rather than putting the pressure on, it just builds and builds and builds, and then they come to the stadium and they're haunted by it, and they can never grow and be the players they want to be because the pressure's too much. We take responsibility for that. That's all we can do.
Can I ask Stuart a question, because he's a match-going fan? Do you feel like we heard as someone who is, watching from the TV, we hear sometimes boos at the halftime. But, from my point of view, I feel like the fans are always behind the players,
No,
right?
not anymore. Not anymore,
Not
Dora.
anymore, right?
No, not
Yeah.
not Old Trafford. No, it's poison there now. Yeah, when I went to the Leicester Cup game last Friday night, I even had a fan start when it was half time. I filled the scoreboard and I said it to a few of my mates. I was just laughing because that's what it's become. You're 1-0 down at home to Leicester. I had a fan turn around on the shoulder. What you fucking laughing at, mate? I said, we're losing 1-0 home to Leicester. He got the right up. There's so much divide there now, and I've said this to a lot of people. It's the sort of it's mine and Yabba's sort of age, and the younger generation from 30 years old under. There's a divide, yeah. Because we've grown up in the glory days of under Ferguson, we used to win it all, blah blah blah. It's laughable now. But there's a lot of these younger fans. They're all starting. There was a couple of fights there last Friday at the Leicester game. Fans
Really?
starting on each other. It's poison there. It's terrible.
Oh dear God. My point is now futile. But I mean, I always maybe away fans are better in that regard. Like I always feel, hear from the TV, the support from the fans but can you blame the fans sometimes, Stuart? But because I mean it's very bad out there. It's very bad out there, yeah.
When I went to the Leicester game, I had a 10-hour round trip to watch that absolute shit. My hard-earned money, I have to take a day off from work. And fans have got a right to view their anger. If they want to boo players, let them boo players. They've got a right, Dora.
Yeah.
These players are
Absolutely.
on X amount of thousands a week. Us hard-going, match-going fans who earn, not pittance, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You've got a right to vent your anger. That's why a lot of men go. That's why I go to football, to let my anger out, especially at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
All right. There are some things that I'd like to discuss. I think first of all, I'm gonna talk about like the space in the midfield, the setup, the formation, and things like that. Stuart, I don't know what your thoughts are on James Maddison. I don't like him, and I don't think he's a particularly good player. But he was very, very good in the first half. He turned Mazraoui inside out. We saw Bruno just whizzing about everywhere, leaving gaps. Casemiro unable.
Yeah, I mean the main problem in the first half that I was seeing was it was like Casemiro was left on his own in centre midfield, so obviously all the gaps were there. Bruno was just like you said, just darting around all over the place. It's a shambles bath time. It's just a shambles. There's nothing else you can say about it.
Well, who has the bigger responsibility? The guy who prepares, sets them up and puts them out, or the players on the pitch who, you've got to think that Casemiro, Mazraoui, the rest of them, they all look at these spaces, these dangerous areas, and for some reason leave them as, it's like the Bermuda Triangle. Nothing
at the end of the day, it's always the players on the pitch. I mean, people can say what they want, but they're the ones who are on the pitch who have got to do the job. But again, he's had a whole week with the players. Yes, we've lost Ahmad, Ugarte, Collier, blah, blah, blah. It's no excuse. This is what you have a squad for, even though we're down to our bare bones. But he's had a whole week with the players. So you've got to ask yourself, bath time, what the hell is going on at Carrington? What are they doing all week? Because I haven't got a clue. Are they playing cards, tiddlywinks,
Getting
or what?
injured.
Yeah, getting injured.
Mr. B, you did the watch along today perfectly. What do you think to the setup, the formation?
It's not going to work.
No, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. At so much times in the game, they were a back five, and the ball either went long to Højlund, who was trying to run the wing, or a couple of times Dorgu hit Xerxes with the pass. But there's nothing ahead of them. There's nothing behind them. Unless they're brave enough to play it as a back three and get those players forward, those wing backs forward, there's no chance. Because all it does is invite pressure. So I don't see the formation working. I have faith in it. I like Amorim. I like his confidence. I like his swagger. But that formation is not working. In the guys that it is, regardless of whoever he gets playing, even if he gets his first choice players playing in it, with whoever they want, Quenda on the right, and whoever they want up front, whether it's Jesus and Moses, or whether they're playing in the 10 behind them. It's not going to work. It's impossible for that formation to work in the Premier League. I'm absolutely convinced.
We're even just quickly. I see this week we're even getting linked with a 38-year-old Jamie Vardy. I mean, what the what is that all about?
Can I ask something? You tacticos in the chat and you guys on the panel, you might, does anyone play like us in this league? Because, I mean, does anyone else play like this?
What's a shit? Southampton?
No. This formation, like what? We are playing, 3-4-2-1. Wolves. Yeah. Someone else? No one.
No, that's it. Wolves, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. And they are in relegation zone.
We are. They're us as well.
I mean, we're only 8 points ahead of Wolves now. It's shocking. It's shocking.
Yeah.
And do you know
I
what?
mean, go on.
Our next home game is against Ipswich. And how can you go to a game at Old Trafford, Man United v Ipswich, worried that you might even come away with a point?
Yeah. And, it's obvious that we cannot play with two midfielders. Casemiro today, even though he had some good forward passes, very few of them, but he had some good forward passes, he is absolutely done at an elite level, and he needs to go. And Bruno Fernandes is just too undisciplined to me to be in any part of deep lying midfielder. I think if he wants to be effective, he needs to be closer to the goal. Him being, dropping back in between the center backs and trying to dictate the tempo, it's not good. It doesn't look good, and it stinks. And obviously he cannot be the one who is covering that space at all. I think he's just poor in that regard, and we need to find a solution. And I think we need a 3-man midfield.
Do you know what, Dora?
I think
There's even a lot of the fans up there last week for the Leicester game are saying, give the armband back to Harry Maguire. Let Bruno get that responsibility out of him and see if he can start playing again.
Yeah.
Well, and then
that's surprising.
And then let Harry Maguire drop off to the level that he was. There was a reason why the captain's armband was taken away from him.
Yeah, well, it's the poison chalice, Mr. B, isn't it?
Jesus.
It's the poison chalice being a captain of Man United. It really is.
Me personally, this midfield issue today it was kind of obvious what was going on. We got a guy in there, Casemiro, who hasn't got the legs to get around the pitch anymore, and you got Bruno, who's not responsible enough, as Dora was just saying there, to sort of manage that position. They should just stick with their block. I know, look, formations, don't really mean much in the Premiership. There's so much running power and so much people get stretched. Your formation will collapse like the Twin Towers. That's what happened today. So what we saw with the midfield too, they couldn't handle it. This happened in the game against Spurs again last season, or was it when they changed it at half time and Maddison just dragged Casemiro out of position and then we were just open, completely open. So I think to sort that out, you've got to have the responsible players in there. If you look at what he had at Sporting, he had a big Dane in there who just used to sit and someone else just sit there and just play their game and just be responsible. Everyone's got a job, a duty. Don't, you're pigeonholed to do a certain job, which is just pick it up, pop it, and play it wide, build as a team, and stick in your position. Bruno's trying to do too much, as I've seen today, and he's dragging himself out of position and leaving us vulnerable with with the midfield like that. So that needs to change, and I'm really disappointed with him. I don't know what's going on in his mindset, why he can't just do a disciplined job in that position. Because if he did, he'd be looking really good player. He just needs to play around. He'd look around. Who was for them? The Uruguayan guy. Just sat there.
Bentancur.
Bentancur. You want a good player for me? You don't even know. Just ticks over, does the right thing, and ticks things over. That's what you want to see. But Bruno just does too much. Casemiro is not at the races. It's just his first game in nearly 2 months or something like that. So I think if you've got the right personnel in there, it can work. I'm not trashing the team. Will Williams, big up to him. He said earlier on the comment about, I remember when they were saying Tara to Fergie in like blind date, Cilla Black, Tara, see you later, because they felt that they'd given up on him. We need to be a bit more patient in this rather than just battering our side, battering the team, whatever. We need to understand things. There's cycles here, and to change the cycle, you need to sort of put ourselves in the wash, bring everything out, and start again. And by doing that, we've had to take a huge back step, to what we really were before in the past. To get back to that stage again, it's a long way off, but we've got to be as part of it and support the flipping team rather than just trashing everybody as we can. But yeah, for one, I think you need to stick with the formation and you stick with the two in midfield until it works. Okay?
Until it works.
There was a team called Chelsea.
So
one more point needs to be, sorry.
You've seen
one more point. Sorry to interrupt you. There's a team called Chelsea who won the league not so long ago, playing a similar system, and the two in midfield was Kante. Do you remember him? He was unbelievable. And who was his partner in midfield then? Matic, maybe, was it?
World-class players. So they had a world-class player in the position.
Yes, so there you go.
Do we have any world-class players at our club?
We need a proper guy like Kante who can just, play that position and hold the position and do the job. Over to you.
Do we have any world-class players at our club?
No.
Currently,
And
no.
maybe.
Let's wait and get them in. That's what I'm saying. When we do, it might work.
When you have to spend money on world-class players.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but it seems to me that the argument you're making is that the system will work with the correct players, and they need to be, in the case of Kante, almost legendary status midfielders for it to work. We don't have those players, but we should stick with the system.
Yeah.
What is the condition where we have to change the system? Because we're currently in 15th in February.
I don't think we should change it. The manager's already said that from the start. If he does change it, he's going to look like a right sucker for one.
Well, guess what?
Okay.
He hasn't changed it, and he's looking like a sucker. So
That's
sometimes
true.
you just have to change.
Yeah.
Amorim's come out time and time again and said he is not going to change the system. If he gets sacked, he gets sacked. So we can sit here, everyone else can say all they like. He is not going to change this system.
So we know
He's
that.
gonna get
So
sacked
let's not act surprised here. He said he's not changing the system. So why am I going to? So you've got to change the system. He's not going to change it. So
He's not going to change it.
Yeah. So let's just leave it as that and just try and work with what we got.
Should we continue with him? Is then the logical conclusion to what I was asking you.
I don't see the point in if we're going back. It's been a major change. The system is free at the back. No more fullbacks. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if we go back and say, all right, this didn't work. We look stupid as a club. We've been set ourselves back even further. Do you understand what I'm saying? We might as well kept Ruud van Nistelrooy. Would have played a 4 at the back and something not so different. Klopp left Liverpool, and the manager got the management of Liverpool said, let's get a manager who's played something similar and just tweaked it a little bit. And that's what they did. And it just seems to, with the players they had, they'd be just kicked on from what they had. We've done something completely different where we've had a system, what Ten Hag played with 4 at the back and the rest. And we said, no, let's just scrap the whole thing and let's go to a guy who's successful in Portugal, slow football, and be successful there. And let's try and incorporate that at Manchester United Football Club. And that's what the decision they've decided to make. You can blame who you want about that, but now that it's here, I want to see results. I want to see will this work eventually with Man United, with the buying power that we have, with the class of
buying power.
The buying power.
You're talking like we live in
more than my Hammer Town. I live next door to Hammer Town.
Tell me what buying power we have, please. Tell me what buying power we have. We're broke. We're crap. We have no money.
Did you see Cunha at Wolves today? Did you see his goal?
Can we afford him?
Yeah.
I'm talking.
Well, that's someone who's playing in the Premiership that is not. It's
about buying power. Can we afford him? Can we afford
him? He's not
Cunha?
playing at one of the top clubs. So this is a player who could blow up. He's a very good player. You know what I'm saying? So we need to look. You said earlier about buying.
You know how much they paid for Cunha?
That's got nothing to do with buying power.
They don't want to come to us. Yeah, but
Cunha could be a player that you said Cunha's not a top club and he could blow up.
Yeah,
that's nothing to do with our buying power.
What I'm saying is, you talk about we're getting in players. It's not. We're saying, we're struggling. Yeah, we haven't got the money to hold, but we can still spend 50. We just spent 50 million on Xerxes. We just spent 70 million on Holland. We can spend that sort of money and get a player. It's just about the right player. to get in. We had this idea where we said, let's get under 23, someone who can develop, whatever. And it's not going to work because they haven't got time. We haven't got time to take a setback while these players develop. It's not a nursery. It's not a training thing. We have to perform, otherwise the fans get upset. So we've got ready-made players in the Premiership who say, all right, if we can hustle and get a player like Cunha, for example, who's ready to go, then that would be a better option than what we got.
Why would he come to us? Why would he come?
No one's saying he would come. I'm just giving a suggestion of our player who's
you
good.
Said we got pulling power.
No, he said he's got buying power. And today, Spurs,
okay, we've got buying power.
Spurs had Tell, and we didn't get Tell because of the £5 million loan fee. So where is our buying power?
It's decision making. I think our buying power. What did we buy in the summer? What did we buy in the summer? How much? Who did we sign in the summer? Just gone.
Xerxes.
Mazraoui.
Okay.
Xerxes, Ugarte.
Did we buy
players that nobody else wanted? Players that nobody else wanted.
Okay. All right. So we actually spending money. So this summer, even though we might have financial issues, I'm sure we could ruffle up 50 million on a player. I'm sure we could do that. It's just about buying the right.
We don't need one player. You said we need 5. You said we need 5, and you're saying rustle up 50 million to buy one player. So what about the other 4 positions?
I reckon we could probably spend 100 million this year, like we did last summer.
So buy 2 players.
Yeah. Go buy. And then we might see a difference. Then we might see a difference of how we're performing and say, we're more encouraged with how we're going forward than we are at the moment. It's a major change. We've changed our formation into a 3, and it's set us back. You can only go down so far before you turn it around. There's got to be a turning point where we can turn this around and start to perform and get consistent with the system. It's alien. It's alien to most of the Premiership. It's alien to most of the players here. So give them a chance to actually incorporate that into their style of play. Give them a chance.
Yeah, but the problem is that apparently there's no funds. So how the hell is Amorim going to build his own team? We've got to sell players in the summer before we can buy. So what players are we going to sell that we're going to get a profit or a decent bit of money on?
I think we all know there's some players leaving. We all know that we can sell some players. As we said before, Kobe and Garnacho, for example, these were, I disagreed with it, but these are players that are valuable that we could get rid of, But I think there's their money to be made. We've got to really sort of go along with the project.
Sell our crown jewels. That's what you say.
Can't be selling Garnacho and Kobe.
I don't think so either.
So you talk about not getting world-class players, but you want us to sell our crown jewels.
So then there's 2 options. You either give it time to be coached into the team where we can be sustainable and be a decent team with the system, maybe bringing a few youngsters to add to that as well. Give us more time like that.
More youngsters again,
and then maybe buying 1 or 2 good players who can fit in instantly. We just spent. How much we spend for the left wing back?
25 million.
That's a lot of money in our world.
Because we don't have any buying power, despite what you're saying. We're a sell-to-buy football club.
At the moment.
Exactly.
So let's see if we can get into the Champions League with the Europa League or something like that. Let's see how we go from there. Anyway, look, that's how I feel about it. I think we should. I'm still supporting the team. I'm not trashing. There's certain players I think are terrible that need to go. I'm not trashing Amorim just yet. I'm not saying Amorim out yet. I think we should stick with the system. I think we should stick with the 2-man midfield. Whatever people say, we are creating chances. I watched the game today. We all watched the game today. We could have scored 3 or 4 goals. We had good enough chances.
Why?
3 or 4 goals.
Tottenham are so shit, Yabba.
Huh?
Tottenham are shit.
Oh, they are beyond.
Yeah, the league don't lie. The league don't lie.
So you're saying we created these chances against a team that is just as shit as us, and we still lost.
Yeah, away from home.
We still bloody lost.
I know.
So what happens when we go? We've got Everton. We've got Everton.
So this is
David fucking Moyes is going to be giving us licks. David Moyes.
Postecoglou became today the first ever Spurs manager to do the double over Man United.
And they beat us 3 times this season.
Terry Venables done it.
It gets worse. It just gets worse and worse every day, even when we're not playing. It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
Spurs were actually 4th in the league before they lost their goalkeeper.
Yeah.
That wasn't so long ago.
But they're worse at the back than we are. They are a shambles, Tottenham.
Yeah, but look at the players they've had at the back. They've been playing that young Leeds boy. for a long time now, and that's clearly why they've been struggling. Anyway, enough about that. Look, it is what it is. There's 21 in the chat, guys. Everyone's got the things to say. I'm prepared to listen to everyone how you feel about it. But I'm just saying this: I support Man United Football Club, and that means being a supporter, like Stuart is. Being a supporter means through the good times and the bad times. Don't be a fair weather fan.
There's even fans giving up their season tickets now. It's fickle. I get called mad for still going to watch my team play. You can't just go with what they call it, a glory hunter.
Yeah,
you can't just go for the good times. You've got to go for the bad as well. And it is bad at the moment, but I still keep going, and I will still keep going.
And then you enjoy the good times when they come even more.
One day.
All right, let's talk about the subs. Spurs, I believe, made 5 subs before we made a sub. We saw Casemiro, Xerxes, Garnacho, Rasmus. Like, we saw a lot of players that to me looked dead on their feet. And like Chido came on for 3 minutes, I think. What are we thinking about the use of the bench, Dora?
So out of all the players, I think we had only Lindelof as a senior player. Look, I get the whole. I know people are pissed because he brought players to London with him on that bus or train or whatever from Manchester. So of course you're going to make sure that they are involved not just on the training ground, but potentially they could be featured in the team. I'm not sure. I get if whole Amorim's point is I don't want to throw in a youngster, even though he threw. I miss Chody getting into the in the last 3 minutes in the game because I just changed the program. I couldn't watch it anymore. When the 19th minute came, I just I went to somewhere and I shut down the TV. But it's just. I think it's not very good. And I get that, people are, some managers are trying to give, opportunities to youngsters 3 minutes at the end of the game to feel the atmosphere, blah, blah. This situation, if you didn't want to use your bench, just don't use it at all. Like, let them, finish the game, all 11 of them, and, maybe look for other games to feature. If you really want, if you are impressed with Chidobe, maybe featuring him the next game. I get the whole point of putting youngsters in is like a foundation of the club, blah blah. I get it why people are mad. On the other hand, I understand why some of the managers are reluctant to give a chance to these players because he obviously thinks he probably thinks that they're not ready. But yeah, it was like it looked really poor from United. At times, it looked like we even were going to score, but you could see that the energy when we should have chased the result, the energy was just not there. The players were passing to each other in the back line, and they were on. By the way, we need to talk about Andronan after this topic because I'm sick and tired of him. And there were some mistakes. By the end of the game, you could see that the players couldn't run for the ball. They were just flinging it somewhere. It's just I'm sometimes even myself as a football fan, like sometimes putting youth players in those situations where they play under 20s, under 18s a few days ago. Now all of a sudden they need to feature in the team in the game where they need to chase a result. I think that's quite a huge pressure, especially for Manchester United players. But on the other hand, you have those players on the bench, use them. If they are good enough, they are going to persevere any pressure. If Chodiobi is so good that he's scoring hat-tricks every single game in the youth team, if he fumbles after one high pressure game or whatever. Like it's not like this is a league game, right? It's not like this is a final of the Champions League. Just feature him earlier, because you can see that your number 9 that you put in the first 11 is absolutely shocking in the way, like, he cannot get to the ball. When he got to the ball, he fumbled it. He had one shot on goal throughout the whole game, which was appalling for a striker of Manchester United. And he should have trusted maybe Chody a bit earlier. This club had Januzaj carry the team. The likes of Guillermo Varela, Marcus Rashford, Cameron Borthwick-Jackson. We had Tyler Blackett in the team at times featured. Paddy McNair, who never remember that guy. Like, we had so many youngsters, feature sometimes in very high. And remember that Arsenal game in 2016 when Rashford scored in his debut in the Premier League. Like, that team was mostly made of the youngsters, and they prevailed. They won that game 3-2. Why not trust your players, your youth players of Manchester United more? If he wanted to feature him in the game, he should have done it earlier. If he didn't want to feature him at all, he shouldn't. He shouldn't do any of those subs, because it looks fake. Like, I now sound like a zoomer, but it doesn't look great in the eyes of the team and in the eyes of the fans who are furious with that decision. So if he wanted to feature him, he should have featured him earlier. And that's all I'm going to say.
Mr. B. You're on mute.
You're muted.
Yeah, I'm with Dora, and I'm with Stuart. I don't see. I'm a positive. I think I'm quite positive. I have tried to be. But I don't see. I just don't see the formation working. I tried to look at the formation more than anything else. Today was the formation, and if he's, as Stuart said, if he's not willing to change his formation, he's gonna get the sack.
He is. I'm telling you now, I can't see him lasting the season. I really can't, because if we lose to Everton, and God help us, if we even get a draw against Ipswich and then lose again, he will be gone. The Glazers are going to panic. The Ineos are going to panic. He'll be gone, and we'll be back to square one yet again.
And guess what?
It's a
Can
circus.
they afford to sack him?
Nope.
They can't, but they will.
Not if they can't afford to sack him.
I mean they couldn't afford sacking Ten Hag after the cup final, and then they extended him. So
yeah.
Think about
And
the
in the end,
buying
they sacked
power,
him.
lads.
Sorry?
We've got huge buying power.
Yeah.
We can sack them. We've got huge sacking power, haven't we, Abba?
Yeah.
I just think, the players on the bench, I mean, look, you want to protect them. When you see players coming in as City and Arsenal, young players, they're coming into a good side. It's easy like that. When you saw it at Man United back in the day, young players coming through, they're coming into a good foundation, and it's easier for them to settle and, find their feet. And I think it would be hard for these young players to come into a failing side and find their feet. It's too much pressure on them. I think it's just protecting them. I've got no issue. I understand it. I would have liked to have seen Heaven come in at the left side, the centre back. I would have liked to have seen what's his name, the striker, Shido play up front for at least 20, 30 minutes. I would have liked to have seen that. But I understand why. I just think you need to protect them. We've got a game at home, maybe Ipswich or whatever. If things get worse, we can sort of play them. But at the moment, I think he's got a vision to play them later on at the end of the season or next season and bring them in. And this is just part of the conditioning.
Might not
like
be here.
with Theo Walcott, when he took Theo Walcott to the World Cup, just to sit there and just experience it under Wenger and Eriksson, rest in peace. I think it's just about that. Just take them on the coach, be around the boys, train with the first team. Like Dora said, it's a bit too much of a step up to ask, even though we would want them to do it, a bit too much. And I understand the manager protecting them for that. Mind you, with the injuries we've got and the flus or whatever's virus is going around at the moment, the next game coming up, you'd like to see, if that's the bench, we want to see one of these players actually start a game. That would be nice to see. But I don't think the fans would be ripping them. It would be nice if we can get a result with a couple of youngsters in there, and the whole atmosphere would change on this channel and with the fan base as well. We'd be more inspired. But it would have been good. Imagine that. I was just thinking, imagine it. A bit like Everton, Liverpool the other day, last game in Goodson Park. Wow, they scored in the last minute. You couldn't make that up. I thought, wow, if he brings on Shidu at some point and he comes to equalise for us, and we'd be celebrating a draw, but it'd be something. Do you see what I'm saying? It's all relative to where you're at. And I was thinking, oh man, imagine the headlines. Shidu must be itching to come on 20 minutes to go and get an equaliser or get a brace or something like that. And that's how legends are made. But you can't make legends made in like 2 minutes of time. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. We just have to accept it. But it's what I will say I'm really proud of is to see a lineup of teenagers like that at a big club like Man United Football Club.
Yeah, but
that's
you
where
say
we're at.
that.
We were
forced into that. That wasn't my choice.
I know. But it just shows you this is the quality we've got.
No, it doesn't show we've got quality.
This is the next generation.
He didn't bring them on.
These players are quality. So I'm really excited to see how they develop and get them into the first team soon.
No, he didn't bring them on, Yabba. You're talking about our bench and these kids. Like, if do you think if they had, four players ahead, that they would have had all of these? They wouldn't have had them. You're happy because we've got injuries and we had to bring kids onto the bench. What is he going to do? Bring his mum and his dad? He had to bring players onto the bench.
I'm saying I'm happy to see. All right, we've got some quality there for the future. The future looks kind of bright when we've got the youngsters like that, and they're getting a sniff of the first team, traveling with them, being on the bench and all that kind of thing. It's a good experience. It will help them a lot.
Everton away next Saturday is going to be the same old shite again. It's going to be Hoyland up front. It's going to be probably lose 1-0 again. I don't know. Just a quick one, yes or no from you guys. Just a one word answer. Do you start Cheeto up front next Saturday against Everton? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
No, bath time? Why is that?
No.
Explain.
For the same reasons that like Yabba has sort of given, is that I'm not upset that none of the kids came on today. I would have thought Lindelof should probably have been brought on as an experienced senior professional.
To do what though, Yabba? To play with fear. You see the thing with kids. The one thing with kids, right? They're not going to be tarnished by all of the bullshit that's going on around them at the club at the moment. You see,
what happened to Makeda?
Someone and got 20 minutes and got his chance. You know what he would have been thinking? I am going to brock up this defender, twist him and score. That's how the youth. That's how when you're younger. That's what you have. They're not tied down by the burden of all of these fucking wankers sucking up all of this money every week, posting on Instagram and doing whatever they're doing and not kicking a bloody football properly for the club. They're not tarnished by that. They want to go in there and they're thinking, Jesus, I'm getting my chance to play for my club. Can you believe it? That's the level that they're going to be going in at.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I still wouldn't play them because I think that bringing them in to this atmosphere is unfair. They're only there because of an injury crisis. There's whole systems of youth development. Like very few of them have been out on loan. None of them had played a senior game of football ever.
And
like
you're gonna play Lindelof, who we
I said
right. So you said all right. So they shouldn't have made any subs today then.
I'm saying that Lindelof should have come on before any of them, possibly for Casemiro.
Yeah, but bath time. How much longer do we have to go through this week in, week out, watching the same shit, watching Rasmus do F all? How much more do we have to take before he thinks, right, I'm going to give Cheeto or I'm going to give another young youth striker a chance? How much more do we have to take before he's going to change?
So I don't. Right. So the reason I wouldn't play them has got nothing to do with how other people are playing. It's about their development and what's good for them the long run.
I get that, but this is a time wait for no man situation now. We can't wait until they develop. We can.
Amorim can't.
No, yeah.
That's the thing, is that if I was Amorim, yes, I'd probably stick them on because, as Mr. B says, they're going to go out there with their heads full of like glory and things like that. They're not going to be held back by the fear that Rasmus Højlund seems to have. Like that, that they have more confidence and so on. And a lot of them will probably look back at what happened Arsenal in pre-season, where Kobe kind of burst onto the scene and ended that season playing in a European Championship final. So I have no issue if like people say I want to play them. But the thing is regardless of the injury crisis and regardless of how the first team's performing, our academy players need to be put on a particular program with like a pathway into the team, and I don't want any shortcuts being taken with them because I think it'll affect them negatively in the long run. Everyone keeps mentioning Makeda. Where is Makeda? What did he do in his career?
Where is Rashford?
Yeah, but then you could talk about Rashford. You say where's Rashford? Rashford was here for 8 years.
Yeah.
So it's
And
not
he
where's
had success.
Rashford.
Yeah.
Rashford was in a much better team with much better professionals around him.
Even, I'm not being funny, even Anthony Martial, I know he's playing in the Greek league, he's scoring goals left, right and centre over there. He's not getting injured.
Yeah.
I just look, if you want to play the kids, I've got no issue with it. But personally, myself, I wouldn't bring them in yet. Like,
No, I totally get that, boss. I totally get that.
Do you totally get that, Mr. B? Or are you going to shout at me again with? I hate Rasmus as much as you do. I know why.
That's fine. If you're telling me that, then I'll shut my mouth. That's fine. I just need acceptance that you see what the shitness that I see.
Yeah,
That's
no,
fine.
like this is the worst Manchester United team. This is worse than Ragnick. This is worse than Ten Hag, and I think that what we really need when the chips are down like this. I know it's romantic and it's like part of the sort of like, in a way, the history of our club to throw like young players on. I really think that it's going to be the Erikssons that kind of get us through this. The more experienced players that understand what this moment is.
The ones that got no future at the club. The ones who don't care if we get relegated because they're going to be leaving in the summer.
I don't think they think like that.
Do you think Casemiro gives a flying fuck about Man United after we've been trying to flog him?
Even I don't think it's pride for yourself. That's the thing.
Maybe they don't have any. He's sitting.
I think Casemiro does.
He's picking up £1.7 million a month for not playing.
You know,
do you think he gives a shit?
I had someone say today that surely these players who know they're going to be leaving are going to perform. They ain't going to perform. They're still going to get paid. They're still. It's diabolical. It really is.
I mean, I don't know their characters, Mr. B, but we also don't know the sort of like the youth team characters, and I think experience it's obviously something that can't be brought and so on. And at this moment in time, I don't want these youth players infected with what is going on at the club at the moment, because you might think they're really excited to go on and stuff, but a lot of them will have been at the club from 8 years old. They'll know about the ticket increases. They'll see all the people sacked. They'll understand it. There will be sort of pressure on them and so on. And secondly, I worry about their physical development because the Premier League it's like full of man monsters of some of the greatest athletes in the world.
But surely he's not going to be playing him every game for the rest of the season. You're giving him a place.
Everton, man. That team is a monster team, second ball specialists.
That's fine. Okay, fine against Everton. But surely towards the end of the Everton game, you're going to bring on some players.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So your question was bring them on or start them?
Bring them on. They have to have game time.
Yeah, I'll bring them on. Absolutely.
Stuart actually said start them, but I do think.
Well, I mean, look, I'll be honest. I wouldn't have no problem starting Cheeto over Rasmus. We've seen what Rasmus has been doing. We've seen what he's been doing. You know what I mean? He's one who I think can be replaced. If you're talking about, replacing Bruno with one of the other, no, that's not a situation. But certain positions in the team, Rasmus hasn't been performing for weeks, and we've got a player who's give him the opportunity to play against Everton. Guess what? They already know that Rasmus is. They already know what Rasmus has got.
Yeah.
Cheeto comes in, it's something different, even if it's for half an hour. They don't know that he can go left or he can go right or just to give them something else to think about. You know,
No, I completely agree with that.
because of the strike. Because he's a striker, that's one position I think could do.
Midfielders and defenders, however.
Remember the guy that Ten Hag brought on as centre back. I think a black guy, and he started going to the fans like that when he made a good tackle or something.
Kambala. He was
So him, for example,
that's what you want to see.
I thought at the time that was a risk because he's young, but he seized it and took it because defense is a really tough position because you're under so much pressure.
He had some howlers.
Yeah, he did have some howlers, but he also you can see he tried, but that's a risk at the moment. The way we are, the Heaven guy, I really want to see him. I think he could do a good job right now, but it's a bit risky playing him in a team like this with the pressure that we're under at the moment. But I would, because we haven't got a left-footed, left-sided defender. At some point, I expect to see him as that left-sided at the back three of the centre backs. I really think we should see him quite soon because it's there for him. It's there for him for the taking. Because Martinez is out for so long, we can't rotate all the other guys, right-footed guys, so much. But the striker position, you're more likely to get more love if you go out there and just take. You can get the glory. There's no less responsibility, as in sitting in a position and holding that midfield or.
You can only win a match. You can't lose it. But with the defender,
so it'd be really nice to see him, and that's what I'm saying. That's my excitement to see over the next few weeks or months. With the injury crisis that we have and the issues we've got, I'd like to see some of these youngsters come in, at least if 20 minutes, a bit more than we had today, and make a difference and see what they've got. It's exciting. That's what we are as a football club. We like to see young players play and develop, and we've got quite a few good ones. And it's no point watching them on a Saturday morning or during the week with the under-21s or 18s. We want to see them in the side, but I trust the manager to do that at the right time.
What I would really like to see, Yabba, is I don't really want to sort of get stuck into all the players because, to be honest, with the exception of Xerxes, I thought that pretty much everyone was pitiful. Yeah. And who do you think played?
Maguire was good today.
Yeah, Maguire was funny today. He was all right.
He was all right, actually. Yeah,
he was good.
He went on a very funny run. I did really enjoy that, and he hit one of the worst crosses I've seen in my life trying to volley.
Yes.
But yeah, no, you're right. I thought Maguire wasn't good, but he was solid. But one of my big issues today was the Dorgu-Garnacho partnership. Running into each other a lot. Garnacho never really combining with him.
So selfish and he's a glue.
Yeah, this is what I sort of want to talk about. Is like when you have sort of Dorgu like playing on the left and Delo playing on the right, you want to see them get into the byline and stuff like that. But instead, it seemed to be mainly about creating access to half spaces. And to be fair to Delo, he did pretty well in the second half, knocking the ball back to Casemiro and Bruno for those crosses into the box. But I felt Garnacho really kind of made Dorgu look pretty poor in attack. He did okay in defence, but in attack, I think he put one decent ball in, and that was it. And I'm a little bit worried about that. So, Dora, I'd like to start with you about sort of team cohesion and what's going on there.
Yeah, it's really hard to watch. So first of all, Dorgu is a new player. We all know that, but he is, yeah, but he is what he is, right? He is something that he will overlap. He will, try to take the opposing defender with him so he can open up the space for his number 10 or a winger or Garnacho in this case to either pass it to the byline or just cross it high or low ball. It didn't happen at all. I think Garnacho is, even though we praised him the other day that he got assist, he was very, very, how do you say it? He was very generous in his crosses. Today he came into his own bad habits. First of all, he cannot cross. Second of all, it's not like Dorgu, really, crossed any
but Sorry.
Okay. It's not like, he Dorgu, don't talk to me about it. I cannot think about, Anthony.
Yeah,
right now.
sorry.
I really don't care.
Anthony scored
don't care.
again.
He can score 50 goals. I still think he's absolutely appalling. But
they've got to buy him. It's the best part about this.
Yeah. Hopefully we get 50 for him.
Yeah.
Please,
buying
God, get
power.
50.
50 quid.
But like a fidget spinner, 50 quid fidget spinner. No, 50 million. But yeah, and it feels like he it felt like, he felt the need to, put himself, on a board, he had a created chance for him by Zirkse and Bruno Fernandes. Clear-cut chance. And he skied it. The ball went out of the Tottenham Stadium. How bad. Like, he was all alone in front of Vicario, and he missed it. He had all the time in the world as well. No one was around him. And he skied, and it felt like, especially after that situation, he started to become, more selfish. He didn't want to pass the ball to Dorgu. He only did it at the end of the game when Dorgu was already, by the way, either offside or he was so far up in the corner of the pitch where he would try to, he would need to try, create for himself and get that cross. I don't know what is the instruction from Ruben Amorim, but what I felt is that you could see a lot of people in the box, especially in the second half. Zirkse, a huge guy. Højlund, a huge guy. Garnacho from the wing. On the other side as well, Bruno Fernandes would get from the, as well from the background in that space. And even Casemiro at one point, he would go and get that ball. No one crossed well today. Diogo Dalot had one good cross. After that, the Zirkse miss that he should have scored. But other than that, appalling, absolutely appalling crossing. One good cross in the 90 minutes when this is our main game plan, when we are trying to expose bad Tottenham backline, especially in the air. They're so good. They're so bad, so bad in the aerial presence. And for once, we had some aerial presence. And then that propels Alejandro Garnacho to go all by himself, go to 3 Tottenham players. He had Porro in front of him. He had after that he had Brennan Johnson. Before that, everyone is in front of him, and he didn't want to overlap. He didn't want to pass it to his wingback, and that's a huge issue. And if I was Amorim, I would do this. I would slap him like a grandma is slapping, whatever. Like I would have a strong word with him, because you didn't make it. You didn't make it. You're not a star. You're not a superstar. You're not the best in the world. You are not Cristiano Ronaldo. You cannot even clean his boots. Like, you are still a player in development who needs to start and prove himself to not just United, but to the footballing world that you are worthy to play in the elite football. And he is doing the opposite of it. He's trying to be freaking Cristiano Ronaldo. He's trying to go through 3 players. He doesn't want to play as a team player. And to me, that is not a good mentality of a player. That is not a good mentality. And if Amorim doesn't fix it, then we should have, then he's not a good manager. Then he is a poor manager, in my opinion. He should go to that player and say, you need to pass it next time, like you passed it to in the Liverpool game to whoever scored. It was either Bruno or whoever, or Amad Diallo. Amad. Like, you need to pass it there. But no, he goes to 3 players. On the other side, you have Bruno, who, besides that one pass that he created for Garnacho, absolutely appalling. There isn't any cohesion between him, Zirkse, and Højlund. Højlund and Zirkse are absolutely horrendous. I'm saying they are horrendous together. And you know what's even funny? Zirkse actually, he passed so well between the lines at times during the games, and Højlund every single time. Either too slow, too late to react, or gets dispossessed by Danzo, who looked like a freaking Nemanja Vidic today. Like, why? Why is that cohesion that poor? And now it felt like, this was actually, it felt like we had a clear instruction on how we want to play in the attack. Cross it to the big guys in the box, and we couldn't even do that. What is wrong with this team? What is wrong with this team? I'm just.
I thought the crosses weren't that bad, Dora. I thought
Oh,
it
they
was
were
the movement
absolutely
of the
correct.
players. They were into good areas at a good height. Like, but I've just seen Anthony's goal. It's an absolute worldie. Have you seen it, Stuart?
Mm.
It's an absolute worldie. I can't believe it. You're muted, Mr. B.
Don't have a problem with that. Anthony didn't perform for our club.
Yeah.
So whatever he does when he goes, the
I
deal
don't care.
was we're going to make money on Anthony. If he keeps playing how he gets, guess what? We're going to actually make money off the loan deal. The specific loan deal that we've done. Then guess what? If they can't afford to buy him and Anthony's doing what he does in Spain, somebody else will buy him. It might well be, what do we need to make of it? 32 mil? Whatever. Get as close to that as we can. He came, he didn't do well for us. He wasn't scoring worldies for us. And to be fair, he scored in his first 3 games for us, didn't he? When he came. So, he's
Scored against Arsenal, for God's sake.
there you go.
He scored in the cup against Liverpool to get us back in the game in the quarter-final.
yeah,
That was the last kind of thing he did, which was a long time
game.
ago.
He's still shy. I don't care if he scored a worldie or not.
Yeah, let him go. I have no problem. These players, him, Sancho, let them go and let us get the money in so that we can try and rebuild the team that Yaba wants us to do.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think we should put a Ballon d'Or contract, clause in his contract. Anyone can. I mean, is Vinny Junior actually that good? If Anthony is doing this, but I don't know. I mean, right, Yaba. Any thoughts on Garnacho, the team cohesion?
Yeah. Yeah, my thoughts on this, I agree with Dora made some really good points about it, and I'm sure Stuart, I don't know what you're going to say, a similar thing. Last week, I saw Dorgu play on the right-hand side, and he linked up well with Ahmad. They really linked up well. They had respect for one another. And we've all played football. We know what it's like. And from my point of view, I might be wrong, but from what I can see, or what I sense, is that sometimes you need to earn trust. You need to learn, and players have a sort of seniority or feel a bit threatened sometimes. They don't want to link up with you. They refuse to pass to you, and they don't think you're good enough. You get that in their mindset, and it does happen a lot. I felt that Ahmad, we see York and Cole, never played before together. They linked up, they're good mates. Yeah, we're on this, and you sort of have this sort of telepathic thing where they want to play together. Xerxes, really unselfish. He doesn't care. He play the way he's facing, do the right thing, and link up. He'd roll people in. He tried to do that. Garnacho, we know that he gets his head down. He wants to be direct. It's very effective for him. But there's a couple of opportunities today where he used Dorgu as the outlet, the runner, to create space for himself. And I felt
but that's selfish, Yaba, because he's creating self.
Yeah, that's my point. He used it. He's being selfish. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So I think by using him, I think that's a lack of respect, and we should do things for the team. He made some good runs, and then when he did, the problem is when he did try to play him in, it was too late. It was too obvious. Everyone knew he was going to try and do that now, and it just didn't work. It wasn't natural to him. Change your game. Don't become that sort of one-dimensional player. Open it up. There's 2 opportunities. Let the defender know you might play a man in, or you might chop inside. They will know he's going to chop inside and try and shoot. And I think you can read that so easily. So that's the lack of experience from Garnacho. He needs to add that to his game. And poor Dorgu needs someone around him who's going to bring him in, and then we see the best of him. Because that's the position, these 2 wide guys, where we really need to sort of have some influence with our shape going forward so we can improve as a team.
Can we, before we, conclude this stream, can we talk about Andre Onana? Is he at fault for the goal?
Yes.
Of course he is.
Yes.
100%.
Hey, he's not the only guy that's at fault for that goal. It starts with Casemiro. He should have intercepted a ball. He missed it. He then got chopped in a little bit, broke his line. The ball came out for a cross. I think that De Ligt is too close to Maguire, and that means that Dalot needs to be like, Mazraoui is too close to Maguire, and Dalot has to, sort of keep that distance between him and Mazraoui a bit better. And then when the ball comes out, before they shoot, Mazraoui turning his back on the man, really, really poor. But Onana, once again, just punches it out into the one bloody area you don't want. No, Maddison reacts the fastest. Like, it's like the thing with Onana is it just feels that like the details are what is costing us like games. Like if he does that right and he pushes it into the correct area, we come away with a 0-0. Like, and we might not deserve it. They should have scored loads on the counter, but the thing with Onana is we all talk about should we drop Xerxes? Should we drop Rasmus to play Chido? I'm much more up for putting Harrison in there at the moment than I am for seeing Andre Onana on the football pitch.
I'd rather have Tom Heaton in there.
Yeah.
I mean, does that mean that we need to look for another goalkeeper in the summer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Definitely.
Yes.
We've got to adjust the spine of the team.
6 players, Yabba, with a goalie.
I'm sick of saying it. I still say, I don't care what anyone says, we should have kept De Gea. We should have kept him.
No, De Gea was done.
Nah,
he was conceding goals like people forget how shit he was.
He's not as shit as Onana.
Oh, listen, man, you always think, he was so shit we thought we were going to get better in it. Obviously, we didn't. That's not our fault.
That summer, Mr. B, we should have bought Jan Sommer, not Andre Onana.
We could have kept the goalie that we had. We could have kept the goalie that we had.
Oh,
Henderson.
The Czech guy. Kovar.
The Czech one. Yeah, Kovar.
Kovar. Mate Kovar. No.
Yeah, I think that I think we needed to make a change from De Gea, but I was never convinced by Onana because I felt it was too big a change. Like I saw him playing basically central midfield for Inter Milan, and like he got we played a French team,
and he was pre-season.
Yeah, and he got lobbed, and I think that really affected him and his starting position. But the thing is that like we're gonna take a hit on Onana because no one's paying 50 million for a goalkeeper,
except United.
Yeah. And I would think that I would think that Amorim kind of looks at him and thinks that he's letting me down a lot. Just the mistake. I mean, Son scored direct from a goal kick again, from a corner against Bayinda.
You tried to do it again today.
But that was against Bayinda, so you can't really trust either of them, to be honest. Those goalkeepers. So it's not even do we need to get one goalkeeper in? We need to get two in.
It gets better, doesn't it? It gets better and better.
I don't know, and I do genuinely feel that at the start of the season we were talking about we need to get wing backs in, back Amorim, give him his system. I think we really need to be looking at the spine of that team. We need a midfield, we need a striker, we need an outside centre back or a Maguire replacement, and we need a goalkeeper.
Have you seen that throw?
Yeah,
have you seen that throw from Onana at the end of the game? When he threw it and Dorgu got a yellow card because he threw it like me during the dodgeball.
I thought Dorgu was sleeping a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a poor pass.
It was a poor throw. What annoyed me more is he took the ball past Tell. Do you remember that? He got it and he just knocked it past him instead of picking it up and just doing fundamentals. You're going to get nowhere with Andre Onana. He's got a great CV in Italy. So did Pogba. So did Veron. I think we just got to look at him as, unfortunately, a mistake.
I think personally, Yabba needs to get his gloves out and get in goal for United.
Maybe. Yeah. All right. Unless there's anything else to say, I think it's probably Lacanotch time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all tired. We'll be back tomorrow for another whinge fest, I imagine, with Yabba somehow preaching how this is a positive thing and it's a character failure. But it is, nevertheless, it is a lack a notch from me.
Like a notch from me.
Like a notch.
Like a notch from me.
And like a notch from me.